Hi everyone, myself Bidyutlata Sahoo, working as an assistant professor in the Department of CSE, Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning at Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. In this video lecture today, I am going to discuss about few definitions and their meanings on knowledge representation for our course Applied Artificial Intelligence. This is the course outcome. After the completion of the course, students can discuss appropriate search strategies and knowledge representation techniques to implement inference mechanisms for AI-based problem solving. Now come to the first term, which is called as the knowledge representation. Knowledge representation, it is the process of encoding information about the world into a format that a computer system can use to solve complex problems. By God grace, we all human beings have the knowledge by birth. Same thing in artificial intelligence. To make the machine intelligent, we have to incorporate our knowledge, our reasoning mechanism inside the system. So that is why knowledge should be represented, which defines, it is a process actually. Using this process, it encodes all the informations and about the real world into the system, so that system can understand, system can reason to solve the complex problem. Now, what is the meaning of declarative knowledge? Declarative, as the name it implies, the knowledge which is represented with a complete sentence, right? Like either true or facts about the world. Those are called as declarative knowledge. So declarative knowledge is a type of knowledge that involves the facts, information, and the statements that describe what is true about the world. For example, the Paris is the capital of France. Water freezes at 0 degrees. A triangle has 3 sides. These are the facts no one is going to change. So those type of representation of knowledge in the system is called as declarative knowledge. Now come to the next term, procedural knowledge. If the knowledge is represented with the help of procedure, like suppose we want to solve one mathematical problem, so we have to follow the procedure. I want to bake a cake, we have to follow the procedure. So that type of knowledge which comes under with the help of steps, or which needs a sequence of steps, that type of knowledge is called as procedural knowledge. So procedural knowledge refers to the knowledge about how to perform the task or procedures. It is the know and how that involves sequence of actions, operations, and steps required to achieve a specific goal. Now, example, you can see how to solve a mathematical equation or knowing how to ride a bicycle. So we need to know what is the procedure to solve a problem. So that type of knowledge is also required for the system to handle the situation if it is required, if it requires any procedures to solve the complex problem. Now, the next term is production rules. Production rules are the conditional if-then statements used to encode the procedural knowledge. As I discussed, the knowledge means the knowledge which can be represented with the help of facts, or with the knowledge which is completely true. No one is going to change. If that knowledge we represent in the form of if-then condition, then those are called as production rules. Directly we are talking in normal English language. All the English language cannot be stored in the knowledge base actually. Knowledge system cannot understand. So various methods and techniques are there to represent the knowledge. So one of the technique is production rules, which consist of if-then condition statements. They are commonly applied in the expert systems for decision making and problem solving. For example, if the temperature is above 30 degrees, then turn on the air conditioner. This is one of the statement which is defined using if and then. Similarly, n number of statements, n number of knowledge can be represented using if and then. So then it is called as the production rules. Next, what is a rule-based systems? Rule-based systems use a set of predefined rules to represent the knowledge and derive conclusions. So these systems are foundational in domains requiring explicit and interpretable decision making. So the knowledge-based system, if it consists of the production rules or the combination of rules, then it is called as a rule-based system, which defines a set of rules to handle the situation. Now, what is the meaning of default reasoning? Default reasoning. Now suppose we are not getting any answer for a particular problem. We know the default value. If we don't get answer also, if it is the default value, then that value will be considered as the default answer. So same thing happens in artificial intelligence. Default reasoning is a method of knowledge representation that allows drawing the conclusion based on the typical conditions unless contradictory evidence is present. That means if the evidence is not present and we are unable to find out the goal state, then the default value will be given as a correct answer. That is called as default reasoning. Normally the AI system also uses the default reasoning sometimes, not every time, but sometimes. It helps the AI systems to handle the incomplete or uncertain information effectively. Now, what is the meaning of nodes in the semantic network? Nodes in the semantic network represents the entities, objects, and the concepts. They are the fundamental units of the network where knowledge is encapsulated. Actually, the semantic network, already I have discussed in my previous videos, you can watch it. Semantic network is a technique of knowledge representation inside the system. So, and how this knowledge can be represented using semantic network with the help of nodes and edges. With the help of nodes and edges, and this node we can draw like this elliptical symbol, and the node can be one entity. It can be one entity, or it can be considered as an object, or it can be considered as a class, or it can be considered as a subclass. And their relationship between these two, if suppose two entities, how they are related. So this is called as the relation between entities. So this is node and this is relation. So here the term is node in the semantic network. So the node can be one entity or object and their relationship, or the class or subclass. Next, what is the meaning of edges in semantic network? Edges are the connections between the nodes in the semantic network, representing the relationships or the associations. These relationships can be hierarchical, means is a, or non-hierarchical, part of. As I discussed, entities in the semantic network or the objects in the semantic network can be represented with the help of nodes, and the relationship between the entities, these are entities, means object or class or subclass. This is the relation. The relation can be a is-a relation, or the relation can be a part of relation. So what is the meaning of is-a and part of here? Is-a means which represents the hierarchical representation. That means the subclass always inherits the properties of the superclass. That can be represented with the help of is-a. And if the subclass does not inherit all the properties of the superclass, then we can represent with the help of part of. So edges, basically here the term edges means it represents the relationship between entities or attributes. Now what is a relationship? Just now I discussed is-a means the hierarchical relationship. Edges are the connection between the nodes in a semantic network, representing the relationships or the associations. These relationships can be a hierarchical, means is-a, or non-hierarchical part of. Now let me talk about what is a relationship. Suppose these are two entities and I'll write like apple. Okay, so this is fruit is the subclass and apple is the fruit is the superclass and apple is the subclass, right? This is subclass and this is superclass. Right? So if the subclass inherits, that means apple is a fruit. Apple is a. I can write the relation between apple and fruit is a. So if the subclass inherits all the properties of the fruit class, then we can represent the relation as a is a relationship. Now part of relationship. Part of relationship represents that one entity is a component of part of another. That means, example, an engine is a part of car. So car is one entity or car is an object. Engine is one object. Okay, engine is a part of car. This engine is a part of car, but engine may not inherit all the properties of car. If I take the example of like a stem. Stem is a part of tree. Stem may not inherit all the properties of the tree. If the subclass does not inherit all the properties of the superclass, then that can be represented with the help of part of relationship. Now, what is a frame? A frame is a data structure that represents stereotypical situations consisting of slots and filters. Slot means the attributes, filters means the value. It organizes the knowledge into a structural format for easy retrieval and reasoning. So frame, as it is a knowledge representation technique where the knowledge can be represented in the form of rows and columns. Each row header part is called as the slot, which are called as the attributes. If you take the example of the student entity or student class, then student ID, student name, student roll number, their marks we can consider as the slots, and their corresponding values are considered as the filters, which are called as the facets also. Facets. Okay, so this is one way of knowledge representation inside the knowledge base using frame. Next, what is slot? Just now I discussed a slot is an attribute or the property in the frame that holds the specific information about the entity or the concept being represented. For example, a car frame may have the slot like color or model or engine type. So this can be the attribute. Next, what is filter? A filter is the value or the information assigned to a slot in a frame. For example, the color slot in a car frame might have the value filter may be red. Okay, so if I take the example of the student ID, student roll number, and their corresponding values are called as the filters. Now, what is the meaning of inheritance with respect to knowledge representation using frames? In frames, inheritance allows the child frame to inherit the attributes of and values from the parent frames. This reduces the redundancy and ensure efficient knowledge representation. As I discussed, in case of the frame, using frame representation, the knowledge can be represented with the in a tabular format using slot and filter value. There can be n number of frames which are connected to each other. The frame, the subframe, if it inherits the property of the parent frame, then that concept is called as inheritance. If the situation is too complex, or if we want to solve a complex problem, then it needs a sequence of steps, and for each step we have to create different number of frames, and all the frames will be combined together with the help of hierarchical relationship. That is why inheritance is the main important role in the knowledge representation technique using frames. Then what is the meaning of script? A script is a sequence of frames representing a series of events or actions in a specific context. Like it is useful for modeling the procedural knowledge, such as the typical steps in a dining at restaurant scenario. Now, if I take the example, so let me tell about what is the meaning of script. Just now I told. So frame is a technique where the knowledge can be represented. There can be n number of frames, and all the frames can be connected with each other with the help of hierarchical structure. Now, if you take the example of the dining at restaurant, then what is the procedure whenever we used to go for restaurant? First we search the restaurant, then we go to restaurant, then we sit, take our place, then we sit, then we see the menu card, then we give the order, then we have our food, then we pay the bill, and we used to come back. So all the steps, for each step, whatever I have told, for each step we can create different frames, and all the frames we can link with the help of hierarchical or using inheritance concepts. So combination of all the frames to solve a particular event or particular problem, that is called as a script. Now, what is case grammar? Case grammar is a linguistic framework for representing the syntactic and semantic roles of the word in the sentence. It helps in identifying the relationships like agent, object, and action to enhance natural language understanding. So, unlike our the knowledge representation using frames and using production rules or using logic, case grammar is the advanced knowledge representation technique which takes care of the natural language concept. So it is a linguistic framework. It takes care of the language, how we speak. It takes care of each word of the sentence with different cases, with different rules. So it helps in identifying the relationship like agent, object, and action. Like if I say Ram goes to school every day. So Ram is the agent, goes to school. Where is the location? School is the location. Ram goes to school every day from home. So from location is the home, and to location is the school. And Suppose I'll say Ram goes to school with his bag. So bag is the object, goes is the action. So case grammar type of representation, it identifies what is the object, what is the verb, what is the action, what what type of action is performed, where is the location, and what is the tense, when it was happened, how it was happened, where it was happened. All the W's it takes care with the help of different cases. So that is why this case grammar is considered as the advanced knowledge representation technique in artificial intelligence. Next, what is semantic rules? Semantic rules are the levels that describe the relationship between a verb and its arguments in a sentence. For example, it includes the agent and the patient. Agent means what? Who performs the action, and patient means what? Who receiver of the action. Now you can see the example. The girl kicked the ball. So who kicked the ball? So girl kicked the ball. So girl is considered as agent, and who received ball is the patient, because the action was received by the ball. So ball is the patient here. So that type of representation is called as the semantic rule. Then what is resource definition framework? Resource definition framework is a standard model for representing information in the semantic web. It encodes the data as triples consisting of a subject, predicate, and object to define the relationship. So it is a type of framework, we can say RDF, resource definition framework. Using that, we can represent the knowledge over the web so that the knowledge can be exchangeable irrespective of any AI program or AI platform. So this is one of the platform in artificial intelligence which is used to represent the knowledge over the web. Now, what is web ontology language? Web OWL is a language designed for creating and sharing the ontologies on the semantic web. It enables reasoning and the expression of the complex relationships among the data. So it is, first of all, it is a language like C and C++ or Java. So OWL, it is a web ontology language. As the name it specifies, it is a language which is used for web. So we can represent the knowledge over the web so that the knowledge can be transferred or it is shareable irrespective of any AI program or AI application. Using ontologies means ontologies are nothing but the class, subclass, entities, objects, attributes, everything we can represent over the web so that other AI application can also share that knowledge. Now normally we used to, while for creation of the web page, we used to use the HTML language or DHTML, JavaScript or VBScript. Same thing, web ontology language in artificial intelligence, it is used to represent the knowledge over the web. Now, what is semantic web? A semantic web, it is an extension of the current web aiming to make data machine readable and interpretable. It uses the standards like RDF, OWL, and SparkQL to enable the intelligent data linking and reasoning. That means semantic web, the name implies again meaningful content over the web. That is why the name is called as the semantic web. Semantic means meaningful content over the web. So that is why it is the extension of the current web, current web technology like HTML or DHTML, and it uses the standards like resource definition framework or web ontology language or SparkQL to represent the knowledge over the web. So this is all about for this particular video lecture where I have discussed so many different terms related to the knowledge representation and different techniques of knowledge representation. Not exactly the techniques, the terms related to those techniques and methods. I hope you might have understood and enjoyed this video. For the preparation of this video, I have referred this Saro's book for artificial intelligence, and for your reference, I have kept this picture on the screen which is available on the Amazon website. I hope you can purchase it. So thank you so much.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.